Hello world, and welcome to my YouTube channel and podcast maybe. I have always wanted to start a YouTube channel, so this is gonna be my first video, and I'm super excited about it because I used to make videos with my friends in middle school and put them on YouTube, but put it under a different name because people were afraid of their children putting their faces online at that time, which isn't the case anymore. Complete opposite, I might say, but I have talked to my friends forever about wanting to make videos and start a YouTube channel, and I kept recording them and saying I was making a YouTube video, and then it would never appear anywhere or they would never see the footage. So, this is the start of me being active on this channel, and I'm super excited about it just because this is definitely the most confident and creative that I've been in a really long time, and I'm excited to see what I make and what kind of videos I get to share. And that's always been my favorite part about creating things is being able to share it with my friends and family. So, hello, if you're watching. I want to talk about uncertainty and creativity because I think that those two things are super prominent in my life right now and kind of go hand in hand in some senses. I quit my job, my full-time job, moved out of New York, and completely just plunged into the unknown at the end of last year. And the last few months have been my first time really not having a full-time job or having my life centered around work. And it's been super interesting and kind of being back in California after living in New York for so long. It's been so interesting. It's been really nice and um calming for my being, my soul. And I think this version of me in March really is thankful for the version of me that was super struggling in November and December. Before I quit my job, I went on a mental health leave because I was really in a bad place. And I think looking back at that point in time, there was so much that was uncertain. And I think I was really afraid of a lot of things. I had never not had a full-time job since I graduated college, and there is a lot of fear in that of just uncertainty and fear. They almost kind of go hand in hand. And humans, we like to know what's going on, or we like certainty or feeling the ground beneath our feet. And I think looking back now, I can see that I can see why I was so scared. There was a life that I knew, the way of life that I was living, and if I kept living that life, I kind of knew what it looked like. I kind of knew that I would have my own apartment and that I would be working a job in sports and that um this is how I kind of would spend my days and weekends. And there's a lot about New York that I loved and still love, which probably made it even more difficult for me to make the decision to leave. But I think for a long time there's like a nagging feeling or voice inside my head that that wasn't where I wanted to be. And working in an industry where I'm like online a lot and I see so many voices and images and things, and I still am exposed to that being online, but living in a place like New York, when you're trying to hear yourself, sometimes is really difficult because there's so much going on. And I'm honestly really proud of myself for being able to make that choice and decision to leave, even though I was really afraid and I didn't know what I was going to or what my life would look like once I came back to California. I I knew I had a community here and that my family was here. So that was certain, but in terms of just how I'd feel or what I would be doing or how I'd be spending my days or anything, that was all uncertain. And I do think that most of life is uncertain. There's not really much that we're certain of except for that we're going to die eventually at some point. And even talking about it now, I think it's kind of funny that I was so timid about making the choice, even though it was a super big decision. Because when I when I moved out to New York in 2019, I was moving from school, and it was because I got a job out there. And I remember after I found out I got that job, I was just like, yeah, I'm going. And I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, I'm gonna go, and then I figured out all the rest of how I was gonna get enough credits to graduate and where am I gonna live and and some of that I figured out on the way too. But there was so much in that was uncertain. I was just certain that I was going. Like I knew in my head that I was gonna be there. I was gonna get there, but I didn't know what the journey there would look like. And I didn't know how long I was gonna stay or if I would like it or if I would make friends or anything. I didn't know any of that. And I think when I was leading up to making the choice to leave, I kept thinking back to that version of myself that just made that leap to move because I kept wondering just like why was it so hard for me to make the choice now when back then I just made it and I didn't even think twice. And I do think one part of it is because there's just less for me to consider when you're graduating college. It's expected for you to figure out to get try to get a job and move or whatever. And I think I was kind of not giving myself the grace of just like, yeah, you have your roots here and you're older and there's just more for you to consider. There's more um I don't know. There's just more for you to think about and maybe with that is just more, I guess, anxiety or second guessing. And in my head, I kept asking myself too, just like why was I not happy there? That I had my own apartment and a good job and good community of friends that I still love and miss, but for some reason I just wasn't happy. There was just a little part of me that felt like that's not where I wanted to be anymore or needed to be anymore. And um I felt like I wanted to be closer to my parents too and all these things. But anyways, kind of rambled a bit there about that, but I think once I was able to accept that sometimes you don't get to decide or you don't get to know how things happen or how things are gonna go. You just you kind of have to follow the little voices inside your head and take them seriously. A friend told me that once, and I'm really glad that I listened to that, even though it was really difficult, and I probably would not have made it if it weren't for my community of friends and family. Um, so just being here, even making this video, I'm really grateful for it because when I was going through that tough time mentally, I was just in such a dark place where I felt like I didn't even want to get up. I didn't even want to do anything, really. And that's like the complete opposite of how I feel now. But I think when you suppress your own voice for so long and you just listen to what's going on outside or what you think you should be doing, there's gonna come a point when your body or whatever, it feels betrayed in a sense. And I think it's so funny because there's a part of your mind that wants to keep you safe because that's the survival technique, right? They want you, the mind wants you to do the thing that will keep you safe. And oftentimes that's staying where you are or staying with that stable job. And I think that in making this leap, I've allowed myself the freedom of knowing that I can take these types of risks, calculated risks, and be okay and even be happy doing it. So I'm so, yeah, I just feel really lucky and thankful and blessed that I'm here because a lot of times I think when you're trying to chase something, a dream, or just even say, like, hey, this is what I want to do, like, I want to be a writer or I want to make a movie, that in itself is really scary because if you never call your shot and you never go after it, then there's nothing to fear really because you're not risking anything. And I think that I've always known inside that I'm a creative person, creative being, and a big part of being creative is being vulnerable and putting yourself out there and allowing the world or whoever to interpret your words or your art. And I I had an interview yesterday and I ended up talking about this like pennant that I had made just for fun. Um, I designed it and like made it out of felt and like hand stitched it. And I thought it was so awesome that I was able to talk about it in a job interview, something that I had just done for fun. Um, and I'm excited just for more to have more time. I think to explore my own creativity and see what comes out of myself, whether that's through music or through fashion or through my writing. I think that there's a lot to be excited about in uncertainty. And a lot of times it's framed in a way that is more fear-based because it is scary to look into the unknown. But I think that if we approach decisions or just moments in our life or things that are happening with this like curiosity of, I wonder how it's going to turn out, and you're just really present for that, like witnessing what's going to happen or witnessing what's happening, we kind of allow ourselves more freedom to not have these like preconceived expectations or ideas of what a thing or relationship or a art project or whatever is going to be. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this first video and just say thanks for watching if you watched to the end. Um, I'm super excited that you're here, and yeah, I'll be back soon with more videos, and um yeah, hope that, I don't know, this video kind of what I said might help someone of just who's facing an uncertain decision or a big decision and are uncertain about it. Um, I think that if you just be still and listen to yourself, that's the biggest thing that you can do. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And I'm even talking to myself when I say that. So when it comes to anything, Just sit and listen to yourself. And you'll know. You're you're that little voice inside. You can hear it. You'll be able to hear it, and you'll be able to know what feels right. But a lot of that is being inside yourself and being inside your body, and I am super grateful to be here in mine.